we're going to turn to Jupiter by Jove. Now, Patrick, what's been going on out at Jupiter?
Juno, on September 2nd, made its 36th close pass of the largest planet in our solar system. Its closest point to the planet is known as Perijove, or PJ36, which is indicated by that blue arrow there. That's when the spacecraft flies at maximum velocity of 130,000 miles per hour and is roughly about 3,000 miles above the cloud tops of Jupiter. During this time, Juno Cam, its onboard camera, is taking pictures, and there's various instruments analyzing the structure of Jupiter as it flies by. It does have a unique orbit where it takes it over the polar regions of Jupiter, giving us images never seen before from Earth because of its orientation, the poles with respect to the Earth. So we're going to take a look at some of these images that it just sent back, beginning with the polar region look, which is, as you can see here, is in this colored enhanced image provided by public. They basically take the raw images and enhance them so we can see some of the detail. The northern region is kind of bluish in enhanced color. There are lots of cyclones there. They're called circumpolar cyclones that literally circle around the polar regions of Jupiter. I put in a circle here to some photofilamentary regions, and you can see in the next image, as Juno glides down from the pole towards the equator, you can see those clouds move up there. So these pictures are taken tens of minutes apart as Juno is approaching its perigee point. Now, near the bottom of the picture, to the right and the left, you can see there's a change in coloration. This is where Juno is approaching the north temperate regions. You see a lot of turbulence. And its field of view is getting a little bit smaller. So we're seeing a closer view of Jupiter. The image is getting more and more high res. There's a storm here with really high detail, including those white clouds, which are the ammonia ice crystal clouds, almost like pop-up thunderstorm clouds above this storm. Nearer to the equator, the coloration turns kind of reddish in this north temperate belt. And you can see in exquisite detail some of the intricate, swirly, turbulent patterns in this just incredible view of Jupiter up close. This is an interesting storm, kind of a brownish spot with some smaller brownish spots creating turbulence in the southern hemisphere of Jupiter. And as we back out, you can see the spot is very distinctive. It's just below that kind of brown kind of belt, which is known as the South Tropical Belt. That's the view that we can see. You can see a little bit more of it because Juno is receding from Jupiter. Now, these are just a smattering of the images that were returned by Juno. And to see more, you can go to this website to see some of the incredible images returned by this Juno spacecraft, which has been orbiting around Jupiter since 2016.
Well, I think one more thing happened to Jupiter, if I remember right, Patrick.
Oh, yes, of course.
Something that was a little bit...
That was a little bit short because now for the encore.
Encore,
okay.
Of course.
Okay, let's do the encore.
It was a surprise that it happened.
Juno's been observing Jupiter up close, but here on Earth, many amateur astronomers have been taking in the view of Jupiter. And in fact, on September 13th, a flash on Jupiter was recorded by 7 amateur astronomers around the world at a specific time. And this flash is within this red circle, and you can see it there. Also, the same flash was recorded in Brazil, and you can see it right there. It lasted about 2 seconds, and it's thought to be an impact of an asteroid or a small comet hitting Jupiter. So that's an incredible recording and very rare to see an impact happening on Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is not a stranger to impacts. The most well-documented case of an impact on Jupiter was back in 1994, when Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 smashed right into Jupiter. These images are just a sequence taken by the Galileo spacecraft at the predicted time of the impact. And it left these large scars across the southern hemisphere of Jupiter. So this was actually seen by myself and several observatory employees at the time. We actually were open at that time, and we had a crowd of people anticipating the impact. And lo and behold, we saw these scars move as Jupiter rotated them into our field of view through the telescopes. So an incredible time to actually witness an event in real time. And actually, Jupiter is not the only object that could get impacted. All solar system objects impacted one time or another. And we caught our own, actually not our own here, but during a lunar eclipse in 2019, while we were broadcasting live to the world, the lunar eclipse from Los Angeles, we saw a bright flash, which is indicated there by the arrow there, which only lasted less than 1/30th of a second on our 30 frames per second video. That's something rare and incredible. It's almost like watching lightning. You only see it once. You got to be there at the right time, at the right place.